Basically, all technology is based on the natural world, or whatever, our creator, our true creator. So everyone is able to get on the network. Like, all the information you want to know about is on the network. If you have a pineal gland and you can connect to the creator, then you have access to everything. To government secrets, all that stuff. Unless they have a way to secure that somehow, psychically or something. Like, if they have a magician or something, that if there's a way to secure that way. Otherwise, it's public information. The only way to stop it is, which I think maybe their technique now, is to figure out who the psychic people are, or who is tapped in and is able to tap in, and kind of destroy their lives, pretty much. And they look for these people. They really do. I mean, they're not going to go out and say that's what they're doing, but yeah, that's what they do. They figure out who the psychic people are, because they can tap into, like, if you're tapped in, if you're pineal and you can tap in, you can know anything you want. You can know every government secret, everything. What these governments try to do is they put everything on the internet. They try to digitize everything, put all the information on their network, so everybody stops using the real network and use their network. And then they have authentication techniques for their network that only, permissions and things like that. But they're copying the real network, basically. So they're destroying people who are able to get on the real network, and then they're kind of forcing slowly to get people on their network, so nobody ever uses the real network. The people who do use the real network are getting destroyed, and then they use their networks. I don't know if there are techniques to secure, like, the real network, but if you're in a world, like, supposedly we're supposed to be upgrading to 5D or something, or uniting, basically humans, as far as I know, are not born wanting to hurt other people. We are trained that way, or it is something that is learned. It's programmed into us, but that's not our nature. So through, mind control and things like that, programming, growing up and things like that, they teach humans to be mean and to fight against each other in competition and things like that, but it's not our nature. Our human nature is to work together in a community. That's our nature. Our nature is not to be fighting against each other, but we're manipulated, or some are manipulated in that way. So, if things were functioning the way they're supposed to be, as in all of us working together and functioning as a team, we would have no ill will against each other. We wouldn't be, thinking of techniques on how to hurt the enemy, or defensive, or whatever, offensive tactics, blah blah blah, all these techniques, because they're not needed. And that's what I think the way highly evolved civilizations are. They work together. The cruel stuff that goes on in this planet doesn't happen because they're not always trying to figure out a tactics to dominate each other. They work together, right? So if you look at the high evolved I don't know. Well, I mean, who knows if they're, excuse me, assuming that all that stuff is real, highly evolved civilizations work together. They're not watching their neighbor to make sure that the neighbor doesn't stab them in the back. They're not competing against their co-worker, trying to find the spot. Like, it's not like that. Perhaps in those civilizations, everybody has their own unique gift, and it's, if you leave it up, to the perfect creator, everyone is born with the special thing that they're supposed to give into the society, and that's their thing. Whatever they enjoy, whatever they like, they're gonna do, and that's their contribution to society. I mean, our society would have to go that way, but I'm just, it's an observation. Yeah, there's gonna require some time or some, working towards that. Who knows? Or maybe it could just happen automatically. Maybe we all wake up and realize that everything was programming, and we're actually don't mean ill harm to each other. Like, if we, turn off the TV and that, those fake things like, oh, that person's against me, or somebody didn't mug me. Like, if you just realize that most people, no, I mean, everybody wants to be happy and things, and some people who have done what you would call bad things, they weren't born like that. They were, something happened to them. They were damaged, traumatized, something happened to them. But if, when they were a baby, they were innocent, maybe they had some tendencies to some things, but if they, if a baby is born with some tendencies or stuff, you can, as long as they were working toward, as long as the society caters to them, or they are treated specialized like everyone else. If society were to treat each individual, if societies were, because right now when we're all born or something, we have to work towards the society to contribute something, to see what the society wants. But if it's the other way around, if a baby is born and society knows that that child was created, the creator made that child for a reason. Who knows? It's a surprise. It's the X factor. But cater to that. That is important. And I think, isn't that that's the difference? Supposed to be difference between a republic and a democracy. That a republic is supposed to, I mean, in an ideal world, that's a definition. A republic is supposed to cater to the individual citizen, whereas a democracy, it's the most important thing is the group. So each individual the group is the most important thing, cater to the group. Whereas a republic, you cater to the individual. I mean, that's the way, as far as I remember. So if it were like in the way of a republic, that would be, you just have to figure out what that child enjoys and likes, and then you solve all the problems of anger, frustration, being unhappy at a job, things like that. I mean, and if there are some jobs that nobody likes to do, like cleaning, cleaning toilets or things like that. I mean, some people might enjoy that, but most people don't, as far as I know. So, like, those types of jobs could be automated. And then you have engineers or something, or whoever who likes to work on robots and machines and things like that to solve problems, because there's people who enjoy that. So you can automate those types of things that nobody wants to do. And the other things, you can, everybody works by doing what they enjoy, and that solves so many problems. You wouldn't have to go to like a psychologist to complain about your job and this and the other. I mean, you would be surrounded by people who are like-minded, because you go to work and you chose a job that you like. So it would solve so many issues in society It really would, I think. And, and then you would have, like, some people become psychologists. They don't like listen, but there are people who do like listening to others. It would just... So anyway, where was I at? The point was that in a society like that, you wouldn't have, people... You wouldn't have to be competing against your neighbor, your coworker for the supervisor position. It wouldn't be like that, because who cares about being a supervisor unless you just like supervising people? But who cares about being a supervisor and earning more money when you absolutely love what you're doing for your job, for your career? Then money is not that important. You've already solved, like, you spend, what, 40 hours a week or something, 80 hours a week, I don't even know what that, doing something that you already like. So there you go. Like, that's vacations. That might not be that necessary because you're already enjoying your time. You're enjoying most of your life, and so you don't have to make time for vacations or to go do that thing that you like, because you're already doing it. So that would eliminate the need for vacations, like going to the spa, getting a massage. Most is like built up stress, things like that. It would eliminate so many things. And you're not worried about somebody backstabbing you. You're not worried about going to somewhere and some mugger's gonna come and stab you. Like, that's already eliminated, because most people would be happy. They wouldn't be frustrated. These crimes and stuff, you wouldn't have to have people on medication, because people are on medication because they're having to do stuff that they don't want to do, and it goes against their soul, their being, and rebel. I mean, just... So in a society like that, there wouldn't be any secrets. There wouldn't be governments plotting against each other and, like, oh, what weapons do they have hidden over here, or what are they hiding behind that closet, thing like that, and what kind of new weapons do they have and are developing. It wouldn't be like that, because we wouldn't be doing that against each other. That's not our... if we were living according to our nature, it would never be like that. So there would be no need. The secrets are out in the open. Everybody can tap into it the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it is. Everybody can tap into these things. If you have a pineal gland, yeah. So that's what's going on. I'm pretty sure that the goal is to eliminate people who are gifted in that sense. I mean, everybody's gifted with that. The thing is that they whoever thinks they're intelligent enough to do this, because they're not. Whoever or whatever entity thinks they're gonna be doing this is, destroying pineal glands, keeping people distracted. And I really think the main goal is to destroy people who can tap into their networks. I mean, and destroy that ability, or discredit it. Basically discredit that in any way possible, and brainwash people into thinking that those things aren't happening, aren't credible, aren't usable. But they use them for sure in these secret programs, what they call secret. They probably keep they're not really secret, because anybody could tap into them, really. They're not those are not secure networks. So yeah, if you're an asshole, if you're an entity, a government, some whatever, and you're doing mean shit like that, yeah, you wouldn't need to be hiding, but you are hiding. But the thing is, you can't really hide because there's psychic people out there. There's people who, your network is unsecured. You will never be able to secure it unless you have a magician or something. I don't know what. A highly evolved spiritual person or something like that who can secure that somehow. I don't even know if that's possible. I don't know. I don't know those techniques. But yeah, they're just hiding. So their technique right now is to discredit the real network, the true network, kill off or put in mental institutions, or give medication to, or somehow destroy the lives of the individuals who can tap into the network, just by society destroying their reputations, they have their techniques. They do something with the taxes, and I don't know, like tell the police to harass them or something like that, stuff like that. Send signals to their house, gang stalking, brainwash the people around them to gang stalk, blah blah blah. In ways, I mean, it's covert ways. They're not gonna. That's not known, of course. These are these secret agencies or whoever they are, and it's all into. They have these secret programs. It's on a need to know basis, right? So that's why they do compartmentalized. In the military, in the government, they have compartmentalized programs. So somebody at the top doesn't really know everything. You have to be read into every single program. So you have people who are like read into this little program, but they're not allowed to talk about it. And then another group of people over there into it. So they're unaware of, they're supposed to keep their secrets. They're unaware of what they're doing. So nobody gets a big picture except whoever is doing all this stuff, and probably whoever entity is doing all this stuff is probably psychic or tapped in or knows the big plan, knows what they're trying to do. I mean, probably, I would assume that whoever or whatever entity is at the top is tapped in. The thing is that they have the ability, just like every other person with a pineal gland. The thing is that they want to be in control. That's their choice. That's their desire to be in control. So they want to take the abilities from other people's, so they can control them and do whatever they want. But they're tapped in. They're tapped in and they know. But they want to make it so other people, they want to take the ability from other people to be tapped in order to control them. Yeah. So that is the big plan, I think. Is to... And it's a pretty ambitious plan. It is. You have to basically get people to the technique of what do you call it, gaslighting. It's a gaslighting technique. Like, tell people, oh no, that's not going on, when clearly it's there. So that is their big technique. It's the technique of a narcissist. That's a big narcissist technique, right? Gaslighting, like to make somebody go against what they're clearly seeing and clearly knowing, and not believe in themselves. And and it's done in so many ways, through data, through books. Like if you just even citing something. Somebody will tell you, a friend will tell you, hey, I saw this weird thing. I know I saw it. It sounds crazy, but I saw it. But But then you're like, but let me Google it. It's, getting people to believe that things aren't real unless they read it in a book or it's on the internet. That people aren't credible sources to mean that some people are liars. That's true. But then if you think somebody's a liar, then if you have the ability and you have a pineal gland, then just get on your network and question that then on your own. And then, you don't have to worry about that. And then eventually people will know, like, hey, I can't lie. So I think I'll just try to be honest, because I'm going to get caught anyways. And that would eliminate so many issues. But the thing is that whatever entity or being is wants to be narcissistic at this time and wants to, take the special abilities from everyone around them so they can be in control of the network, but they're tapped in, and just gaslight everybody into thinking that, oh, the real network isn't real. You have to get on this other network, this internet network, and then we validate who can get what information, and everybody needs to put their information on there through because in order to use that network, and then you get machines that can use all that stuff too. Machines can't tap into they don't have pineal glands, so they want to digitize everything. That's why you have Facebook. It's free. Just put all your information, what you're eating, blah blah blah, whatever people post on there, and then you have your entire life. You're giving it to them. You're giving them all the data they need. They don't even have to tap into the network. You give them all this information already, and it's in digitized form, so they don't even have to work that hard, because they can't. I don't think they could tap into analog signals, like the curly the wavy signals. No, it has to be the square. That's what digitized is. Digitalized. Like if you notice photographs, now all the photographs are digital cameras, digital everything. Where back in the day, it was an actual photograph. It was like a film and the paper, and that's why I think Native Americans and stuff, those photos actually captured your soul, your essence. But these and people who can read that, those pictures could be read by people who are tapped in, as far as I know. I mean, I could be wrong. But then when you have a digitized photo, you can only do that. You have pixels and stuff and all that, and even music. Music used to be recorded on those records, the vinyl records, and it's actually the sound is etched in there, right? That records everything. But now music is digitized, and movies and stuff. So, and it has to be streamed. So all of the beautiful sounds and the beautiful pictures or whatever has to be fit into a digitized form. Into it's not analog, it's not wavy like in nature. It has to be into like a square digitized form, and put into little packets that can be transferred through the air and Wi-Fi and through whatever. And you lose a lot of stuff there. Like whenever you're translating languages, a lot is lost in translation. The quality of the music, because especially Bluetooth, you can't have in order to hear something appropriately, you have to actually have a vinyl record. That's why people are into vinyl records. A vinyl record, or actually go to a live event, to a symphony or something, where and I don't know, even speakers might change the sound, like electric guitars. Maybe the real way of hearing something is you actually have to go to where you are close enough to hear it live without speakers. Perhaps that's even true. Yeah, so everything is converted. The plan is to convert everything to digital, because that is easily read through computers or whatever things they have. they don't even have to tap into the network. Then they control that. If you force everybody to put everything on digital, and then you can also turn off the network, since all the information is on the digital network. You can just turn off the network, and then everybody's like, "We're lost. We can't get the internet. What's up?" But if you're on the real network and you're tapped in, then the reality. So they do things to jam signals, the real signals. They do, they have radar stuff. They have signaling. They know how to affect those things. The crown chakra, or I think the crown chakra, right, that you're used to tapped in. So they know these people, and then they have all this also information. They know about the astrology, the birth charts and stuff. They know. So astrology is just a likelihood of things, planets align. Right now is a good time for planting a seed or something. So it's the likelihood of events occurring. Right now is the right time to plant that seed because it's springtime. Because the planets are aligned, the sun, whatever. So when the right timing for things are, but they have discredited that. They tell people that it's fake stuff, that is woohoo, blah blah blah. When in reality, that's what they use. They know that, every 50 years, something is likely to happen or whatever. Or it's the right time for something, so they plan ahead. They're using offense, defense techniques with the true network and the true reality of things. But they're discrediting people who use it for their own benefit, for their own personal benefits, because they want to be the only ones who use it. So they're telling everybody else that those forms of information, the real network, is fake, that it's discredited, and behind everybody's back they go destroying the people who are tapped into the advanced network, because that's really the advanced. And then they say that it's brainwashing and everybody and gaslighting everyone into believing that stuff isn't even true, when that's what they're using, but they don't want you to know that. So supreme narcissist, I guess, whoever that entity is, and very ambitious into thinking that they'd get away with something like that, but they're not. It's impossible. Yeah. And that's what they're attempting at this time, because they have already figured out the alignments and stuff. So they know that right now, or there is a time when their techniques, there's a prime time. There's a prime time when things are likely to happen. So they know when that timing is, when that moment is, and they try to destroy it. They have plans in place to destroy it. They have their people. They hire, I don't know, entities or something, who knows what, people to astral project. They already know people's birth chart because it's all digitized and recorded. If you know somebody's birthday, if you know that they have an amazing birthday and they were born on the perfect day, then you know who that individual is. And you have, you are able to control the police and and lie to people and manipulate people into thinking that somebody's evil or whatever, then you could definitely destroy an individual like that. You just keep it to yourself. It's a secret. It's a compartmentalized. You don't tell the police that they're doing that. Somebody has to, you just tell the police, okay, we're watching this person, but we can't tell you why, okay? Police, just do your job. Just and then, okay, so this person, let's put him on the government watch list because they seem to be doing some suspicious behavior. They're not conforming or something. They don't tell them conforming, but they're suspicious for some reason. Who put them on the suspicious list? Some person up there, because I don't know. I don't have the permission. it's on a list and only that person has, but people doing their jobs, like, okay, this is a person, suspicious person, they must be evil, let's observe them, let's send them signals, let's of course that they don't know each person that's harassing that special individual who's been targeted because of their birth chart, but nobody knows that, right? So you have your police saying, oh, you tell your police this is a suspicious person. You tell your, I don't know, IRS, yeah, there's something wrong, just, fat finger, then you have your little hired people, just fat finger this thing right here, here's a bonus of $1,000, because you do what I say, just fat finger this person's account, mess up their stuff, their tax return or whatever. And then you have the media, we're paying these people millions of dollars. We already have studied, okay, they enjoy looking at pretty people, good looking people, so let's put good looking people there with suits, make them look nice, and speak correctly, whatever the fuck they do. And then and in the news saying, make stuff up like, yeah, these people, the gangs, whatever, or studies, and you have the scientists saying, study shows that these type of people are crazy, that delusional. It's like you have different parts of the society doing, you're feeding false information to the different parts of the society in order to target these people. But these individual parts of the society don't know that. Only whatever entity knows the big plan, it knows that. But you know what? The entity who has the big plan, they have zero security, because everybody with a pineal gland in these things has the ability to tap in and figure out who or whatever it is. So they're unsecured, and there's nothing they could do about it. Maybe they could send signals or whatever to try to affect these things, perhaps. But I mean, those, you can still get away. You can still, there are still techniques that you can use to not have those things affect you. And I know they work. They work. So those entities or whatever are basically defenseless against beings who are tapped in. And then, maybe perhaps when all else fails, what they do is they offer them money, perhaps. Here, just work with us. We'll give you lots of money, give you whatever you want, and you don't have to deal with these problems that you're dealing with, like people, gang stalking you, people talking shit about you behind you, about your back, the IRS, whatever, taxes, or the police. It'll be gone, and you'll have, just come work with us. That's also. Then, there's also maybe they try to harm them or kill them or something. They can try those things. I mean, those are techniques that they, but they also know that it's kind of stupid to do that. It would be not wise, because the alignment, the times and stuff, it would be unlikely to, it's possible, but to reverse the universe, the weight of the universe, the wheel turning, it's very ambitious. But when you're on your way down, what can you do? I mean, you might as well try, right? I mean, honestly. And you have to think, like, and that's the thing, is that when you are tapped in, when you are using that, it's you're in the compassionate sense. You already know what other people are already. It's on the network, so it's no surprise because you're understanding of whatever they're trying to do, because you already know. You feel like you know. I mean, if I was on my way down, gonna get crushed by the wheel, because that's the way it is. Like, that's the universe moves, everything changes. That's life, you know. This happens in the other, because if there wasn't any change, then there would be no life. That's what life and creation is: movement, change. If everything was perfect, and it would be at a standstill. If everything was perfectly balanced, then there would be no movement. You have to have an imbalance somewhere for it to move, and that's what whole thing that creation is, and life. So it's just a natural thing. So anyway, so the wheel is going a certain way, and if I was in their place, I would definitely, what I would do is well, I'm going down. I don't care. I'm gonna throw everything at it, because hey, what the hey? There's always a possibility, and that's true. Nothing is written in stone. Like, the craziest things could happen. I mean, I have heard that the world was gonna be destroyed in around '89 or something, from a channeler I used to listen to, Cryon. That's just where I got the information. I just thought, but I haven't listened to him in a while. I heard that, and so we're not even supposed, like, that this world even exists is kind of a miracle, because it was very, very unlikely that it was even, like, every soul born in that time was basically a death sentence coming in. For example, if I was born around that time, a little before that time, then as a soul, I was coming into a place, I was coming to die, because the world was, but there was still a possibility. It was very unlikely, but there was still a possibility, and it worked. So these other, on the other side of these people, whoever, entities, it's the same thing. It's pretty much over, but there's that slight possibility. So if I were them, hey, I'd try the same thing. I mean, because I can think like them, because I'm compassionate, I can understand their point of view. I don't agree with it, but I mean, I don't know everything. Maybe they have the reasons. I don't know. But the thing is that that's what I would do if I was them. And if you are compassionate, you can think, then you already know what your supposed enemy is trying, because because it's already out there. So yeah, I think all of this is a pretty good, lots of food for thought. So I think, in my assessment of all this, the best thing to do for the entire humanity is take some time to get tapped in, figure out how to, your pineal gland, get your pineal gland straightened out. You can make commands to your body, you align your chakras, get grounded with the earth, the planet we exist on, tap into the earth, the air, the elements, because they have information. All that stuff has information in it. The sun, get some sunlight, the sun rays. That's probably why they have clouds all over, like UK and all that. They're having issues over there or something. I mean, I don't know. Try something like cloud busting. I don't know if that works. I mean, I've tried. It hasn't worked for me, but I'm sure some people could do that. The Oregon. I think you could do some stuff with the Oregon energy, something like that, to destroy that stuff. But yeah, I think this is the big plan, and I think it's very easy. Just tap in and get people to realize this brainwashing and this whole gaslighting thing about your abilities. They're trying to get you away from tapping into the real network and trying to lie to you and saying that it's crazy. And some people have fallen for it, but if you see the big picture, you can see the manipulation, and then you're gonna wake up and realize, wow. And then realize also that's a really ambitious thing. How did they ever think that they could get away with that? Well, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I got. Today is Sunday, April 9th, 9:19 a.m. the year 2023.